Hey guys, it is LuTube, aka Lewis, aka your father. And for today's video, it's a different video than I typically upload. It's a personal video, it's something about myself that, I know a lot of people know about me, but not a lot of people know. And I don't know, I feel very open, and I feel like this can help other people who are in my situation, or for those who are not in my situation, they can understand my or others' situation. So yeah, if you are new to my channel, welcome, and please subscribe, like, and comment, share the video. And if you are already subscribed and you're back on my channel, hello, welcome, what's up, and I'm glad you're back. If most of you or some of you do not know, I am a foster kid. And with being a foster kid, it is not bad. I personally have enjoyed being a foster kid. I'm not a foster kid anymore because I have a family now. And it's honestly the best family to me. It has made me feel so welcomed. It has made me feel very appreciative of life, of everything that's around me, and of others. So yeah, truly I can say that being a foster kid has come down with a lot of life changes and with a lot of things in life, but it's never something that you cannot overcome. Personally, I feel like my process through being a foster kid and then meeting others who are not foster kids, I never really knew the difference, and I still don't see the difference. I feel as though a parent is, to me, my parent is my parent, even if it is not by blood. We're gonna go back in time. So, okay. So we're gonna start from little, right? So basically, when I was younger, I was adopted. I think either 7 or 17 days of birth, after birth. And hearing that from such a small age you can be adopted, personally I never knew what adoption fully was until later on. I started realizing adopted is when you're taken from your birth family, placed in another family. I never really knew that until later on, when I started growing up, and then I'm oh shoot, all right, that's fine, I have no issue with that. Personally, it has shown me a lot about myself, but as I was saying, so I was taken I was put into the foster care system after 7 and 17 days after birth. Personally, I don't know which one it is because I mixed it up with my older brother, so we're kind of the same number, just something like that, whatever. So yeah, personally I feel as though it has been a hard time because people always ask you oh, you would never want to meet your parents, or do you ever want to meet them, do you look for them, do you ask about them, all the other things that people typically ask. Personally I don't ask or look for them because personally I see it as I don't see a point or a purpose into looking for them personally. Yeah, but I have thought about it, looking to see hey, can I find them, all that. But I never really had the full urge of all right, I'm gonna go find them, I'm gonna go look for them, I want to know who they are, I want to know what was the dilemma onto why they gave me up or whatever. I never really found that purpose. So yeah, if some of you know, and if you don't know, I am 18. So I've been in the foster care system for literally my whole entire life. Personally, growing up in this household that I am in right now, and I am fortunate to have, it has truly been a blessing in my life. It has truly shown me to be grateful for everything. So yeah, I have fully been blessed to have this household and to be able to call it my home. Because there are foster homes that do not care for the children. They take them for the money, they abuse the children, they let them starve and like get sick. They let them like, just like, they don't even let them shower sometimes. Like, it's like really bad. Like, you know, some foster homes don't really care for the children, they just do it for the money. And it is sad because it's so heartbreaking to see these kids suffer when they didn't choose this lifestyle, or they didn't choose, you know, to leave their homes. Like, it wasn't their choice, you know. And I feel like a lot of these kids have suffered a lot, and it is truly sad and heartbreaking. Okay, so I have grown up with two of the best parents ever, which are my mom and dad. Growing up with them was truly a blessing. I feel as though, you know, it is hard, and it has shaped me into who I am today, but there's more to it. So in 2015, January 28, 2015, I was in middle school at the time. I was taking a test, and I got a text. At first, like, I didn't look at my phone to see the text because personally I was like, oh, like, what is the purpose of it? You know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's probably like a notification or something. But like, my phone kept buzzing and buzzing. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is it? Because like, I'm like, everybody that I talk to is in school right now, so like, what is the issue? So then I look at it, and then I get a text talking about go home and stuff, and like, you need to go home now. Like, you have to leave school, go home. And it was from a text from this girl that I used to be friends with, but I am no longer friends with anymore. So she was telling me, you have to go home. It is an emergency. You have to leave. But I was confused, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, what? So fast forward. Turns out that, you know, I leave school early, like very early. I had a whole issue with like that. Like, it was just bothering me inside. So I felt like, oh my god, like, what's going on? Like, at first I was like, please, like, let nothing be happening. Like, please God, like, help me, please. Like, what is this? You know, because the person that was texting me did not want to let me know like what was happening. They were like just telling me like, go home, you have to go home. So I was like, okay, whatever. So then a few minutes later, I go to the principal's office. Someone calls me, and then I give them the phone because they're like, hey, can I speak to your principal? And I'm like, okay, here. The principal talks to the person. They're talking to like some code language, whatever. And then basically the principal was like, hey, you have to go home now. Like, you have to go straight home. There is no if or buts. Please go straight home. Like, you can't go nowhere else. Go straight home. And I was like, okay, all right, like, I'll go home. She's like, do you have anybody that can pick you up? Because if you're not from New York, you, in order to leave like middle school, like, that you have to like step out, you have to well, in my middle school, you had to be signed out by an adult, and they had to be 21 or older. Personally, I didn't have nobody at the moment to sign me out, so my principal sent me home. She was like, please just go home, okay? Like, go home and then call us when you're home. So I was like, okay. So then I got all my stuff, and then I left. Like, I left school, and what is it called? So then after I left, I was like running home, but like I was scared. And I realized that there was an ambulance in front of my house that was like leaving. Okay. So after all that had happened, I go upstairs, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh my god, please, like, let nothing happen to my mother or my father. Like, I hope nothing happened to them. So as I'm coming upstairs, I'm like, oh my god, please, like, I don't want nothing to happen to any of them. And then I get through the door, and then like at first, like, did I have keys? I didn't have keys at the moment, so like I had to like ring the doorbell, but like nobody opened. But I heard people were inside, and then someone opened finally, and it was my mother. And then like before I even get inside, she was like, "Your father died," and I was like, "What? Like you're lying?" And she was like, "Yeah, your father died and stuff." And I'm just like, "What?" Like I was like in a state of shock. Personally, it was crazy. It was overwhelming, and it had a really big impact on me. Not in the moment, but later on, you know. But hearing that my father died, I was like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a lie. Like, you're lying. And yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, oh my god, like this can't be happening. She was telling me like everybody was coming over, like my bro. I was like, what the hell? Like this can't be happening. And then turns out it happened. He died. It was sad, and it had a lot of, how do you say it, like it had affected me a lot overall. Like not in the moment hearing that he died, because I was in a state of shock, but moving forward, like after they had buried him and after, you know, everything, I had realized like, okay, this is real. Like this is real. Like this is actually happening. Like this happened. Like, oh my god, this happened. After, you know, everything that happened, after his burial, after, you know, everybody left, you know, like my brother went back home, everything, it felt pretty lonely in the house. You know, it had felt really sad and like, you know, depressing at times, because I'm like, damn, like he's not here. It's like, wow. You know, normally like he would always be in the living room like watching TV, or like he'll be in his room, or like he'll be in the car, like, you know, like just listening to the radio, and realizing like, hey, he's not here anymore. You know, like that really showed me a lot. You know, like I never really got an experience of a father, but he was the closest thing to a father that I ever had, like a real father. Even though he was my foster father, I was very appreciative of everything that he did for me. So from his death, like I had really took in the moment of, look, I am the man of the house, meaning like I am the oldest in the house. At that moment, I was the oldest in the house, because like I said, my older siblings were not living with me. My sister lived in her own apartment, and my older brother didn't live in New York. I mean, he didn't live in New York. So with that happening, I was the oldest in the house. So yeah, I live with my mother and 3 other siblings, plus me is 4. So there's 4 kids in the house plus my mom, so it's like a lot. Overall, like everybody's like, now you're the man of the house, now you're this, now you're that. I'm like, oh my god, like what? Overall, I had felt kind of pressured, because, you know, like I'm like, what do you, like, I don't know how to be the man of the house. But over time, like I realized like it came down with a lot of responsibilities, and it came down with a lot of consequences, you know. Once I realized like, okay, because when my father died, I was in 8th grade, so it was literally like he died in January, so like I had a few months before graduating, you know. So I graduated middle school, and I had gotten into high school the following year. You know, personally, being in high school, the first year of high school really sucked, because I felt like I wasn't doing my best in the sense of what I knew I could do. Overall, yeah. So then came around 10th grade. Being in 10th grade had shown me a lot about being a foster kid, in a sense of my capability and my life and my understanding. Because my mother never cared about them. She never cared about high grades. All she just wanted you to do is just to do really well in school. Like she never, because I was never a problematic child, I never got into fights or anything, but all I did was go to school, come back home. So yeah, she would always be appreciative of that, and she always like was happy that I was never one of those kids that grew up in the streets, like, you know, doing drugs, all that. She's very content with that, and I'm content with that myself, because I have realized like that is not the path that I have wanted or want for myself or for my future at all, or for anybody around me. So yeah. So in 10th grade, I started getting really high grades. Not the best, but like, you know, like 89s, 90s, you know, 91, stuff like that. Like moving up a lot. And yeah, like 85, stuff like that. I have felt a little better around 10th grade, because I felt as though, all right, look, like I'm getting high grades, you know, like I'm doing it, like, you know. Personally, I felt the need of getting high grades because it would help me later on in life. I felt like the need of always like aiming for really high grades in academics, because I knew that I needed to be the man of the house. I know that I needed to strive for the best for my family in the house. Like, all right, look, I'm getting the grades. I'm becoming more of a father figure, not really being a father figure, but more of a strong person in life. Meaning, like, I didn't let things get to me. Like, I only worked hard for my family. Like, I only cared for their happiness and their well-being. You know, like, I tried really hard. I always aimed for the best. I truly had. You know, but realizing, like, sometimes it can break you. I would break, but I would realize that at the end of the day, that didn't define who I was as a person, because I knew that I can break. And that happens. That happens all the time, and it is okay. You know, so yeah. Throughout the year, I was, you know, feeling lonely, but I had, you know, to experience a lot of things to realize who I was as a person and who I had to continue being in life. I have this path, I have these obstacles, and I know that I can do it. I just have to really put in the time and the dedication to actually do these things. Like, it is okay, you know. It took me a while to realize that I can do certain things, but truly I can say my experience with the 12th grade year has truly been a blessing, especially like in my household of being a foster kid, in a sense of realizing like family, or what I have as a family, is always gonna encourage me to the max. And I say that because they have truly helped me understand more of myself, you know. My father's death had impacted me a lot in life, and it has shown me a lot about myself. But what I can truly say is that, like, with his death and my mother helping me around the house, like helping me understand like who I am as a person, can be very beneficial. And for me to realize like, hey, like, you're doing so good, like you can do a lot of things that you doubt you can do. You know, I had acknowledged that, and you know, I've been working hard ever since. 12th grade was the year that I finally went to see my father after all the years that he's been buried. You know, I went. It had truly been awesome, and actually going there as a family. Not everybody in the family went, but you know, at least like me, my older brother, my mom, my sister, and yeah, and his wife and his daughter. You know, it was truly like something that I can honestly say was very joyful, you know, seeing him after all these years, and actually acknowledging that he has helped me throughout the years, even if he is not here. His presence, and I would never take it for advantage. I am very appreciative, and I feel so happy to have this opportunity to actually experience this, and this is something that I will always cherish with me. And this is something that is personal, but I don't feel like as though it's something bad. I feel as though this is something positive. And if you are someone out there who is in the foster care system, or who is not, I wish you the best. And if you are in the foster care system, it is okay. And if you are not enjoying the foster care system, I feel you, because I know friends who are not enjoying them. But all I can tell you is you're almost out. You can be almost out. You know, don't worry. Like, it doesn't always have to stay how it is. But yeah, and for those who are not in the foster care system, I would truly say I'm content for you. I'm very happy. And yes, but you would never really know what being in a house, but never really knowing like who you truly were, or who you could have been in another household. So yeah, but all I can say honestly is I appreciate my parents for for everything that they've done for me, and I appreciate them every single day, whether it is my mother or my father. I will always appreciate them for everything that they've done for me. If you made it to this point of the video, I wish you nothing but the best. This is very different, like I said in the beginning, from my typical videos, but I mean, it is something that I felt like could have been and can help other people, whether it is understanding or for you to just appreciate, you know, because you know that you're not out there alone. So yeah, but yeah guys, enjoy, and you know, keep living positive. At the end of the day, you got this. And if you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, comment, and yeah. And if you're not and you're back on my channel and you watch this whole video, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for listening. And I appreciate that. So yeah. See you next time, guys.